Well, there are growing calls nationwide for the Biden administration to drop proposals within the Department of Education that would fund school curriculum about racial bias and discriminatory policies in America. To further discuss, I want to welcome South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace to the program. Hi, Congresswoman. Thanks for joining us today.
And thank you for having me on.
So you've co-sponsored two bills to ban taxpayer dollars from funding critical race theory in American schools and in the U.S. military. Can you expand on what your motivation is?
Right. Well, President Biden has done more damage in the first 100 days than I thought possible in 4 years. And one of the things that he's done is he has reversed many of the good policies under former President Trump and his administration. And President Trump would never allow this kind of curriculum to be taught in our schools, particularly in our military as well. And so these two particular bills would defund any dollars that would be spent or expended to teach critical race theory to our military or to our children in public schools. And make no mistake, this is Marxist ideology being pushed by the administration. It is meant to divide us and tell all of us that we are racist. And it's indoctrination for our kids in public schools. And it's wrong, and we cannot and should not tolerate it in any way, shape, or form.
Well, and as a parent yourself, do you think that the federal government should be stepping in and telling school districts what to do with what they're teaching children?
Absolutely not. The 10th Amendment teaches us this thing called federalism that I wish the administration would remember and recall when they are putting policy together. But education and curriculum should really be done at the state and local school board level, because school boards and states, they are accountable to parents and nobody else. There's no other recourse for parents that are in disagreement about this Marxist ideology that Biden wants to teach in public schools.
With that said, have you been able to gauge if there's any support across the aisle for the legislation that you've introduced?
I'm not sure yet. The legislation is fairly new, and so there are folks every day, particularly obviously Republicans, that are signing on to it every single day as we move forward. And it's going to be important to do that and to show that strength. And we have a lot to run on in 2022, and this will be just yet another reason why Republicans will win the House majority in a big wave in 2 years.
All right, I want to shift topics. Infrastructure talks, those appear to be hitting a snag between the White House and Senate Republicans. The White House did lower the price tag a little bit on their proposal. Does the lower price tag on their proposal, is that enough to get Republicans on board, do you think?
No, it's not. And look, President Biden, he's just playing footsie with Senate Republicans at this juncture. Republicans in both the House and the Senate have met with the president and his administration on multiple occasions. Going from 2.3 trillion down to 1.7 trillion it is nowhere near where we can be. And in fact, there's still very much Green New Deal, wasteful spending. It's not even traditional infrastructure. And I sit in traffic every day when I take my kids to school, and most normal folks here in the United States understand what infrastructure is, and roads and bridges, and those things should be funded and protected in any infrastructure bill, not the Green New Deal, not school lunches, and any of the other crap and wasteful spending that's in it.
All right, and then finally, Congresswoman, do you get a sense that Democrat leadership and the White House are in good faith trying to negotiate a bipartisan deal, or do you think Republicans are wasting their time? Is the White House wasting Republicans' time with these negotiations?
I believe the White House is wasting Republicans' time. And word on the street in D.C. is that Nancy Pelosi has essentially taken over the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, that there will be no deal negotiated. We've tried on our side, Republicans have tried in good measure and in good faith to negotiate a bipartisan deal. And because that's failing, that's why you're seeing Senate Republicans and House Republicans like Sam Graves put Republican alternatives forward that are much more affordable to the American people and actually have something to do with roads and bridges and airplanes in this country.
Right, and it certainly seems that the administration continues, like you pointed out, the price tag is going down, but not necessarily the agenda there. So it does seem unlikely at this point that a bipartisan deal is going to get through. Now the question is whether they're going to be able to convince senators like Joe Manchin to get on board. So that'll be a tough one for them as well. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, thank you so much for speaking with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.